me, I won't be home for dinner. No, dear. Working late. Why is this happening to me? Why me, Doc? Why me, Doc? No, don't answer. I'm over 40. I can face the facts. Once you start having trouble here, you're done for. Doc, today I had a heart attack.
Well, Mr. Pump...
Look, Doc, I know it's incurable. All I want is time to set my house in order.
You say you had an attack, Mr. Pump?
I got all the symptoms, Doc. Pain over my heart, shortness of breath, dizziness, palpitations. Doc, can you keep me going a little longer?
I'm sure I can help you, Mr. Pump. Now, can you tell me when you first noticed these symptoms?
It was one night about 6 months ago. I was dog-tired, but I couldn't sleep. Then I began to hear it. I was scared. The next day was torture. The wife thought a night out would do me good. Dinner and a movie. It was great. Smoked oysters, lobster Newburg, French fries, Nestle Road pie. I was feeling swell by the time the movie went on.
Calling young Dr. Marone. Your patient is waiting.
Bad news, hectomillimeter. It's your heart. It can happen to anyone. Overweight, worried, pressured. A discouraging diagnosis. Sorry. Goodbye and good luck.
An invalid for life, Doc. Maybe gone like that. Just like my Uncle Ralph.
Oh? Tell me about him.
He was my favorite uncle. He always played with me. Suddenly, he was gone.
Poor Ralph. Struck down without warning.
They always say heart attacks is sudden and fatal.
Little Cordell, so much like his uncle. I wonder...
Mother was smarter than that old country doctor. She knew. After that, she taught me to take good care of myself. No strenuous games. No dancing. No sports. Even so, it got me anyway. Heart disease seems to run in my family.
Tell me, Mr. Pump, did your mother and father die of heart disease?
No, Doc, they're both still alive. It was just my uncle. And now, me.
Both your parents are still alive, and Uncle Ralph was an old man when he died. If your mother had listened to that country doctor...
But Mother was right. Here I sit with every symptom in the book. After I saw that movie, more symptoms developed. I couldn't keep my mind on anything I was doing. Couldn't even enjoy a friendly card game.
What do you say, Cordy?
One stack.
Raise your 5, Cordy.
Call.
Call. You in, Cordy? Okay, Pete, what do you got?
You 3 ladies.
Sam? Mac? Well, Cordy, what do you got?
I lose. All the symptoms.
Mr. Pump, we can't be sure what these symptoms mean without an examination.
Why do I have to go through all that? Anyway, it's too late.
We'll get the painful part over with first. There. Get me a blood count, please. The rest is a cinch. Now we'll take your blood pressure. This gives me an idea of your heart's position and size. Each part of the examination reveals a little more information about your heart. Into this room, Mr. Pump. Hold still, please. Just looking at the small blood vessels in your eye. Okay.
Doc? What are you doing now, Doc?
Fluoroscope.
Am I through?
One more thing, Mr. Pump. This electrocardiogram gives me details of your heart action, written by tiny electrical impulses created by your own heartbeat.
Is that all there is to it?
That finishes the physical and laboratory examination, Mr. Pump. Now, to complete the picture, suppose you tell me about the attack you had.
Well, this morning, I went to see the boss. I had to get some time off.
You're right, Pump. We can't take this modern pace. Once your heart starts to go, you gotta call it quits. Pump, you've given me an idea. Ever been to Florida? Well, I'm going to take off a whole month. Give the old ticker a complete rest. Wish I could spare you. But I tell you what, the pace is slower up in Sam's department. You take your typewriter and report up there for a few weeks.
Thank you.
It'll be like a vacation for you.
Let's face it, Doc. That was a heart attack.
Mr. Pump, you'll have to face it. I now have your complete story, all the facts, if you're prepared for them. Nothing in your examination or these reports indicates that you had a heart attack.
Now, Doc!
Well, you're not the first person to pass out with a bad case of jitters.
Jitters? It was my heart!
Mr. Pump, you started picking up misconceptions about heart disease when your Uncle Ralph was
Struck down without warning.
The great majority of attacks are not fatal, and there are usually some warning signs and symptoms. Anyway, in the matter of diagnosis and treatment of heart disease, we've come a long way since your uncle's time. As for you, your parents wanted to do what was best, but their concern about you was based on rumor and hearsay. What you inherited was not your uncle's heart disease, but your mother's exaggerated fears. And you've been much too heart-conscious ever since. That night you told me about, after a day of work and worry, you were
Dog tired, couldn't sleep.
You began to listen to your own heartbeat. Naturally, in the still of the night, it seemed loud. And when you became frightened, it did beat faster.
Then it skipped.
It happens to the most normal heart. It means nothing. But you were looking for symptoms. I know you tried to get it off your mind, but underneath you were still uneasy. And then, more misconceptions, this time served up as entertainment. What young Dr. Marone said was sheer nonsense. Well, if people with heart disease go to their doctor, he can help them. Most people with heart disease can live full, useful lives.
You trying to tell me all my symptoms were phony?
Not phony, Mr. Pump, but not heart disease either. They might be
Lobster, French fries, Nestle road pie.
indigestion, magnified by anxiety and misinformation, the main source of all your symptoms. They can mean a lot of things. Just where was that pain?
Right here, over my heart.
No, Mr. Pump. Pain directly over the heart is rarely a symptom of heart trouble. Neither your symptoms nor my examination adds up to any heart disease. You were wise to come in, but
And I quit my job.
another phony idea. Now, most people with heart disease can keep right on working.
But, Doc, I left a letter of resignation on my desk. I quit my job.
Wait, Mr. Pump.
But you said I was all right.
I said you didn't have heart disease, but the reports do show you have a slight elevation in your blood pressure.
High blood pressure? A stroke? Oh, I'm dead. A goner.
Mr. Pump, you have a slight elevation of blood pressure and a wild imagination. Here, relax. Drop in for regular checkups. You'll live a long time.
Boy.
Remember, Mr. Pump,
Don't worry. I'm through diagnosing myself. Be seeing you, Doc. Hello, Marie? I'll be right home.
This is a museum just off Madison Avenue. Working here are 3 archaeologists. One is an economist. One, a communications expert. And the third is a sociologist. They are about to go on a new expedition.
Gentlemen, your mission, however far you may travel, is to seek and find the very roots of our present culture. Go now and dig true.
Chief, we found it!
The site of early man,
the beginning of our culture! We were there!
Gentlemen, quiet, please.
Chief, speaking as a sociologist, from the human point of view, here's the way I see it. It all began in the Bronze Age, when primitive man, who had been off to the wars, returned to his homeland to find he had a great deal to catch up on. There was plenty of work, plenty of mates, and soon, plenty of babies. But life at the tribal center was hectic, and shelter was difficult to find. So early man and his mate turned their backs on this congestion and sought a place of peace and quiet. At first, there was none. It was a struggle with makeshift utensils, primitive methods of household management, and broken down machines. The result was that soon a lot of people were spending days building a peacetime economy and nights with new families in new homes. But it was a place where they were all busy strangers, and there just wasn't time to catch up with the outside world.
How ironic. Same old speed up.
Wrong, Chief. As an economist, I can tell you that it wasn't long after early man acquired his shelter in the suburbs that he experienced the post-war boom. Created a lot more leisure time. But early man was still tied down at home.
Why, we'd love to.
When the baby's a little older.
Early man still had the feeling the world was leaving him behind.
Ironic. Bored. With nothing to do.
Wrong, Chief. As a communications expert, let me tell you that now comes the beautiful part of the story. Here was a unique culture, producing more history and more goods at a faster tempo than ever before.
Thought you said they were creating more leisure time.
They were.
Thought you said they were producing more history and more goods, faster and faster.
They were. Here were the makings of a wonderful new life, needing just one thing, a new means of communication, dynamic enough to move out the products of a rapidly expanding economy, exciting enough to interest the family and enrich their new leisure time.
Jim.
And along came an invention that was exactly right for its time. At first, it didn't seem to amount to much.
It won't go. Too expensive for the average guy and not enough to look at.
But the early broadcasters made it go. They transformed television from the possible to the indispensable. By creating better programs and more of them, television networks encouraged some people to build stations and others to buy sets. And before long, the pioneer advertisers were attracted by the growing audience. Then things began happening fast. For when the television set went on, it brought not only sound, not only a picture, but sound, sight, and motion all in one. It was a device made to order for this unique culture. A turn of the dial brought the world right into the home. History began to unfold in everybody's living room. It was like being right there when it happened. It had impact. It was so easy to understand that even the kids loved it. No wonder everyone went wild over what he heard and saw. No wonder television caught on everywhere overnight. At last, these people could keep in step with their times.
Yes, and when that screen moved and spoke, people listened. What it said seemed important. It was an oracle.
And because people believed what they heard and saw, it became an ideal medium for delivering not only ideas, but goods. From cars, to cameras, to labor-saving products of all kinds. This became the age of self-service. 9/10 of all food store sales were made in self-service markets.
People were learning what to buy from their sets and going straight to the store shelves to get it.
Saving everyone time and money. This made even the supermarket a labor-saving device.
Which created still more leisure time.
Which people spent watching more television. A beautiful spiral, which brought us from the Bronze Age to a new civilization in 10 years. The American people have more money and more leisure to spend than ever before. And as American business produces more goods, television produces the customers to buy them. As this spiral continues, television becomes more and more important in expanding our economy and enriching our lives.
That's just what I've been learning, and I haven't moved from my easy chair. Never was an invention so right for its time as television is for ours. Look here.
Across the nation, television is now in 8 homes out of 10. In cities and suburbs, 9 out of 10. 3 million homes now have a second television set. Today, the 49th most popular show plays to a weekly audience of 20 million people. People spend more time with television than with magazines, newspapers, and radio combined. And television keeps growing. It gains 25,000 new viewers every day. Television does a complete advertising job, pre-selling goods to today's self-service shopper. Self-service dealers say, television is the most effective of all national media. It's the first choice of dealers in 68% of all self-service hardware stores, 75% of self-service variety stores, 78% of self-service food stores, 89% of all self-service drug stores. Automobile dealers also favor television. When they were asked how they would divide $1 million of national advertising funds among major media, new car dealers allotted more money to television than to any other medium. National advertisers agree with retailers. They allot more of their national advertising budget to television than to any other medium. And they spend more of these funds with CBS television than with anyone else, because their customers spend more time watching CBS television than any other network.
These facts may astonish you, gentlemen, but television serves our economy so well and is growing so fast that in a few years, even this report will be ancient history. In fact, by 1965...
We can stop digging. We found primitive man.